Is there really such a thing as pure friendship between men and women? If Hibiki were asked this question, her answer would definitely be yes. She has a male best friend named Natsume, although anyone who sees them together would ask, "Why aren't you two married yet?" Both of them insist they are just friends. Natsume first met Hibiki at a cultural festival in their second year of junior high. He had bet with his parents that he could sell 100 everlasting flower ornaments, but only sold 5 on the first day. Unexpectedly, when he returned to the science club room, he saw a strange girl who approached him very familiarly, telling him that a group of girls had just looked at the products, and she had helped sell 27 pieces. Natsume was shocked, but very grateful to Hibiki. However, he wasn't good at dealing with such a beautiful girl. Hibiki kept asking why he had to sell 100 pieces. Natsume confessed that he dreamed of opening a flower ornament shop, but his parents wanted him to be a civil servant. After a big argument, they said if he could sell 100 ornaments at the school festival, he could follow his dream. Hibiki laughed out loud when she heard this and called Natsume an idiot. She said it's natural for parents to oppose such risky life plans. However, she admired Natsume and decided to help him sell all the flowers herself. The next day, Natsume indeed sold out all the prepared ornaments. 2 years later, he turned it into a side business at the family convenience store, selling ornaments online that had been promoted. After school, he would hide in the clubroom to work on new ornaments. At that time, Hibiki would often suddenly appear, sit on Natsume's lap, and act spoiled. Their way of interacting didn't seem like just friends at all. Natsume let Hibiki stick to him, because they had become best friends since that cultural festival. It was also Hibiki who encouraged Natsume to open the shop directly. She had noticed him long ago, knew he took care of the flower beds in the backyard every day, named each flower, and liked one of the ornaments he made. Her only request in return was that ornament, for which she even used her once-in-a-lifetime request to her brother. So, Natsume had to take responsibility, because what Hibiki loved most was the look in his eyes when he made the ornaments, focused and beautiful. She wanted to monopolize that passionate gaze. As long as Natsume could do that, she would help him sell as many ornaments as needed. Thus, they became a team bound by fate, best friends for each other. Natsume had no reason to refuse, especially since the ornament Hibiki liked was made from goosefoot, symbolizing friendship, cooperation, and inseparability. Although they claimed to be just best friends, Hibiki liked to joke around. She often said that if Natsume hadn't opened his shop by the age of 30, she would take responsibility and marry him. Hibiki's brother even called Natsume brother-in-law all the time. Fortunately, Natsume was indifferent to these teases because he had a first love from a school trip in elementary school. Hibiki always mocked that it might be his delusion and told him to face reality and find a girlfriend. Natsume couldn't help but retort that with Hibiki's clinginess, which girl would dare approach him? Moreover, Hibiki's ex-boyfriends liked to spread rumors about them. Of course, it was all Hibiki's fault since she always talked about Natsume in front of her boyfriends. However, Hibiki quickly changed the topic, saying she was just playing with those ex-boyfriends. Her family, being a prestigious clan, would have her go to arranged meetings with potential matches, likely some greasy old men. Hibiki even teasingly told Natsume that her young body would be touched by those old men, making Natsume feel a bit sorry for her. He said he would secretly protect her when the time came. Hibiki couldn't hold back her laughter and asked if Natsume had read too many novels, questioning who still goes to arranged meetings nowadays. Today, Natsume received another order and became lost in thought as he looked at the shipping address. Actually, the things Hibiki said during the day weren't made up on the spot. They really had an agreement. If Natsume was still single by the time he turned 30, he would simply marry Hibiki. That way, he wouldn't have to worry about being alone and could concentrate fully on opening his ornament shop. After reminiscing, Natsume took the order to the convenience store and asked his sister to help mail it. Meanwhile, Hibiki was continuously promoting his business. Although people always asked her if she was dating Natsume, she consistently denied it, firmly stating that they were just best friends. Her desire to support Natsume's dream stemmed from this friendship, and she only hoped that Natsume's future girlfriend wouldn't mind their relationship. One day, while buying a drink, Natsume encountered a beautiful girl and decided to gather inspiration for new ornaments from her. He accidentally stared at her and suddenly noticed she was wearing one of his ornaments, a style sold at the cultural festival 2 years ago. Just then, the bracelet broke. The girl saw it was damaged and couldn't help crying. Natsume instinctively stepped forward to tell her it could be fixed, but she looked wary. Being socially anxious, Natsume turned and ran away, and the matter was left unresolved. Later, Natsume told Hibiki about the incident. True to form, Hibiki was very curious. They both forgot it was class time, and Natsume ended up getting scolded by the teacher. After school, their science club classroom welcomed a visitor, Shinji, Natsume's good friend, and Hibiki's ex-boyfriend. The two often bickered and treated each other as embarrassing parts of their pasts. Shinji had once dated multiple girls at once, causing Hibiki to face retaliation from his girlfriends. Shinji also criticized Hibiki for accepting confessions out of curiosity, even though she didn't like him, calling it self-inflicted. Naturally, Natsume took Hibiki's side and asked Shinji what he wanted today. Unexpectedly, Shinji asked if Natsume had tried to chat up a girl at the vending machine yesterday, then called that girl over. It turned out Hibiki knew her too. Rin, Shinji's childhood friend, had played with Hibiki a few times as a child, because Rin's sister and Hibiki's brother were classmates. Hibiki then remembered that Rin's sister, a model reader, had helped promote and sell the ornaments the day after the cultural festival. It was very likely the bracelet had come from her sister. Since it was someone he knew and his own creation, Natsume naturally wanted to fix it for her. However, Rin, who seemed aloof but was actually quite clumsy, was the only one who could handle Hibiki. She grabbed Hibiki and began to express her grievances from over the years, complaining that Hibiki had stolen her favorite keychains and toys. Hibiki struggled, and in the midst of her struggle, she began to play mischievously with a plush toy, only to be furiously shaken by an irate Rin. Eventually, Hibiki was left with a sign hanging around her neck, showing a clear handprint on her face. Meanwhile, Natsume focused on repairing the bracelet. Once he entered his work mode, he became oblivious to everything around him. When he finished fixing the ornament, he discovered that the girls had braided his hair. Rin was finally amused and smiled, thanking Natsume as she looked at the restored bracelet. After parting, she asked Hibiki about the boy. At that moment, Hibiki was still proud, believing that no one else could understand the look in Natsume's eyes when he made ornaments. She was reluctant to talk more with Rin. However, Rin's next words left her speechless. Rin always believed that moving creations came from gentle people. She loved the bracelet so much she naturally wanted to know who made it. Although she had never seen him, she felt he was nearby because there were always items he made in Hibiki's photos. Now, having met him, Rin was sure that the person in the videos was Natsume. Hibiki was taken aback, realizing that her belief that only she truly understood Natsume might have just been a self-satisfying illusion. Natsume has recently hit a creative block because he only has Hibiki as a model, making his jewelry designs monotonous lately. His sister, upon hearing that he helped another girl with her accessories, saw it as an opportunity and reminded Natsume not to forget their agreement. If he hasn't started his own business by age 30, he must return home to take over the family business. Meanwhile, Shinji grilled his childhood friend Rin about what happened in the science lab yesterday, offering his help as a self-proclaimed love expert. Just then, Hibiki showed up, and she immediately clashed with Shinji. But when two younger girls sought Shinji's attention, he couldn't resist leaving with them. With Shinji gone, Hibiki quickly pulled Rin aside, suggesting a great idea before rushing to find Natsume. She jumped on his back, asking if he was daydreaming during class. Natsume confessed he wanted to change the theme of his next jewelry collection to passionate love and intense despair of heartbreak. He shared his sister's words with Hibiki, who strongly agreed, noting that since his jewelry mainly appealed to girls, a romance theme would be perfect. The two, inexperienced in love, then debated what love really is. Hibiki thought it involved wanting to kiss or sleep with someone, and casually asked Natsume about his experience and if he wanted to kiss Rin. Natsume failed to see the relevance to Rin, to which Hibiki claimed she was just trying to help him imagine it better, and wondered if he wanted to test their compatibility. Unfortunately, Natsume had no such desires towards girls. Surprisingly, Hibiki suggested they try kissing, since they didn't understand the desire anyway, proposing that a kiss might make it clear. Natsume found Hibiki's logic sound, but questioned if best friends could kiss for such a reason. Before he could respond, Hibiki held his hand, claimed she would only hold hands with him, then pointed to her lips, asking if he wanted to kiss. Caught up in the moment, and worried about being mocked if he went through with it, Natsume watched as Hibiki, serious and not joking, pulled his tie and leaned in. Unable to resist or wanting to, he closed his eyes as Hibiki's lips approached, only to find out she was teasing him. Natsume was deeply hurt, but Hibiki seemed oblivious and asked him to keep Saturday free for her. On that Saturday, Hibiki's brother came to pick up Natsume. Natsume learned that his sister and Hibiki's brother were classmates in high school, and his sister was quite influential during her school days. Reflecting on the differences between him and his sister, he felt inadequate. Hibiki's brother comforted him, praising his talent in jewelry making and inviting him to find inspiration at their home, treating Natsume almost like a future brother-in-law. After Natsume was dropped off at home by his brother, Hibiki immediately started nitpicking him, claiming he had no sense of fashion. but she let it go since the focus today was on her close friend Rin. The three of them found a cafe to hang out in. Rin still looked unapproachable, making Natsume too shy to talk much. It was up to Hibiki to liven up the mood. She asked Natsume if he had any ideas for the next jewelry photo shoot. Before he could even start thinking, Hibiki suggested adding something new, like Rin. Rin had agreed to model Natsume's jewelry as a way to thank him for fixing her bracelet. Natsume had no reason to refuse. Changing models could indeed spark new inspiration. They even decided to set the photo shoot at Rin's family's Western-style dessert shop. After that was settled, Natsume went off to buy supplies, feeling more energetic than usual. Reminded by Hibiki, he realized he had another model, Rin. So, they began helping Rin choose jewelry to see which colors suited her best. Their playful banter soon had Rin laughing. Hibiki then tied Rin's hair up and asked Natsume to help her with a necklace. Natsume told himself not to be shy since she probably didn't even see him as a guy. He tried to stay calm while helping Rin with the necklace, their cheeks almost touching. If Rin turned her head, they could easily kiss. After the necklace was on, Hibiki teasingly pointed out that Rin's casual outfit was quite revealing, which embarrassed and angered Rin. After buying the parts, they visited a florist to pick flowers. Hibiki was drawn to the wisteria there, and Natsume was impressed by the stunning arrangement of flowers. Hibiki remarked it reminded her of old times, but was reluctant to elaborate when Natsume asked. He didn't press further and continued choosing flowers that matched Rin. Seeing that they were getting along, Hibiki excused herself to buy drinks, leaving them alone. She felt she must support Natsume's potential romance. Left alone in the flower shop, Natsume tried to find topics to discuss, asking if Rin and Hibiki had been friends since elementary school and bringing up childhood stories. It turned out Hibiki was very different as a child, a quiet girl who would just sit in her room reading picture books. When Rin delivered pastries to her house, Hibiki's mom encouraged them to be friends. Natsume then asked Rin about her favorite flowers. She liked bigger ones with a romantic feel. Natsume thought tulips were a good choice, as their blooming could create varying impressions. As they talked about flowers, Natsume became quite animated. He had no interest in sports like other boys, only in flowers and jewelry. Rin was curious why he loved flowers so much. Natsume shared a childhood memory of getting lost in a botanical garden with a little girl who was also lost. He spent his pocket money to buy her a flower, which she said she would keep as a souvenir and wear in her hair every day. He knew fresh flowers would eventually wilt, which led him to become interested in floristry to make flowers last longer. He hoped to one day give his floral jewelry to that girl. Sharing this story made Natsume feel somewhat embarrassed, but Rin suddenly asked if the flower the girl wore was a large red hibiscus, matching her hair color. It turned out Rin was that little girl. She'd always disliked her hair color until that day. Blushing, Rin told Natsume that his flower did indeed reach that girl. The girl he'd been longing for had been right in front of him all along. However, Hibiki didn't return for a long time, so Natsume and Rin exchanged contact information. Hibiki went straight home because she already knew that Rin was the girl from Natsume's memories. Rin had told her the night before that when her sister brought the bracelet back 2 years ago, she immediately remembered the boy's face. Hibiki had heard Natsume recount that story many times, and believed it was fate, which is why she wanted to support their romance. But now, she realized that the two of them didn't need any help at all. Her two favorite friends were on the path to a happy future. She should feel happy for them, yet why did she feel so upset inside?